Hi, this is Brandon. I'm an owner-operator for Swift. Um, I've seen a lot of people at the yards and the terminals and all the company drivers, and everyone wants to see what the load board is and how it works and how you guys can get access to it. Currently, the only way you're going to be able to get on here and see these loads is if you already are an owner-operator, either on a mileage OTR or percentage OTR. If you're on a dedicated account, you will not be able to gain access to the load board. So if anybody is curious about the rates, I'm going to go ahead and kind of go through it and show the owner portal. Your login will be your driver code. Your password will likely be Swift, the last four of your social, and a question mark, or at least that's what it was for me. You go ahead and log in, it'll give you your driver code in the top right corner. These three lines, you have the My Info, you got the fuel tab, and all that. So you can, go through and you can look at the prices of all the fuel at all the terminals. So with Swift, and they didn't really tell me a lot, so I'm gonna explain it. Fuel discount. The only fuel discount you can get as an owner-operator from Swift is you get 5 cents below the cash price. So if it says diesel is $6.30 a gallon for credit, but it says it's like $5.95 for cash, I'm just throwing an example out there because that's what I saw yesterday. So it was $5.95 for cash. So what you would get is you'd pay $5.90 a gallon. It's not a huge discount, but it's a discount. Your best thing you can do for fuel discounts is either fuel at terminals, because these terminal prices are cheaper, or get your own fuel card. Mudflat will be a really good source for you owner operators and fellow owner operators out here, as well as I got approved for the Axle card, and I got partnership with Pilot to where I get 70 cents off a gallon on fuel at Pilots. So that's another really good thing to do, is you can try to apply for that Axle card. You do not need a credit check to get the Axle card. All you need is a positive statement of your bank account that shows your ending balance for a month ending in over $100, and it cannot be Cash App. It has to be a regular bank. That is kind of the only thing they have, and the rules they had on it. So let's go ahead and open this up to all. Let's go ahead and look at the terminal fuel prices. I am currently actually over at the headquarters in Phoenix. I did not know we had a Tucson yard. I might park in Tucson if I'm at an hour or so. Is there... I'm still really new to Swift. I'm figuring everything out. I hear there's a yard in Albuquerque. There is. So I can get fuel there too. That's some decently cheap fuel. Yeah, I'm currently at Phoenix, so fuel is $4.26 a gallon here. So pretty decently cheap fuel. And I did fuel up for that cheap price. You can go through your settlements. I'll make a separate video on that later. Trips pending, anything that you're missing your paperwork will be in there. Fuel surcharge, you click on here and you can see your fuel surcharge rates. So the standard rate at the moment is, standard average for diesel is $4.83 a gallon. And the West Coast, it's quite a bit higher for fuel, obviously. So taking that $4.83 as the national average, they're giving you 60 cents a mile for fuel surcharge, as well as if you're on the West Coast like I am, you're getting an additional 15 cents on top of that for fuel surcharge. So you see the standard on the West Coast, you add them together, you can add these two together. So 60 cents, so that's 15, so that's 75 cents a mile for fuel surcharge. So standard calculator. So if I'm getting 75 cents a mile, let's say I'm averaging 2,500 miles a week. Really, I'm not even running that much. But they're giving you almost $2,000 for fuel. and it is really set that if you get anything better than 7 miles a gallon, you're making money on fuel. And then if you get that fuel discount, which I can go through and do the math in a separate video explaining that and showing that, you can make a lot of money on fuel. Right now, with that Axle fuel card, I am actually profiting and making an extra $400 a week off of my fuel. This truck is a 2026 Peterbilt. I'm actually, so far, I don't know what the computer is telling everybody else, but according to my dash and what I've been looking at between point A to point B and how much fuel I've used between them, I'm getting about 10.5 to 11 miles a gallon, which is the best I've ever had in any truck. And I was running at 65 with cruise control. Let's go to the load board, but a lot of people really want to see and how to book a load. So the reason why it says 73% load board usage is that I did have a load or two that was put on me. It really wasn't put on me. Those are just like dry run stuff for, like, they put a dry run to get me paid to drive my car to the terminal, and I had dry run paid to shut around, get my trailer, do all the shuttling that I had to do, as well as to bring that terminal. I had to bring a trailer from Sumner, so from about 2 hours north of Seattle, almost all the way into Canada, down into the Sumner, Washington terminal. So we're going to go ahead and look at some loads over here. There's quite a lot of freight coming out of Arizona at the moment, especially out of that Tucson area. Look at that, $4,400 to go from Tucson to Silverdale. That's 1,544 miles. So let's go ahead and look at that. 4,400, 0.90. You want to be exact. Divided by how many miles did it say it was? 1,544. 1,544. That gives you $2.85 a mile. That's almost that's pretty close to $3 a mile. That is a really good paying load. Swift Logistics loads, I haven't really had an issue with them, but there's a lot more that goes into it. Tolson, actually that's at Albertsons, right? It's out of Tolson, so it's probably at Albertsons. No, it's Costco. Costco to Costco. There's quite a lot of freight coming out of there, but for purposes of booking our next load, and explaining how that works. Sorry for the shaking of the camera. I don't really have a proper mount. I currently have a run. I'm in Phoenix. I'm gonna go down to Tucson, and I'm currently gonna go over in New Mexico. I'm gonna go up to 25, and I'm currently gonna go up into Casper, Wyoming. Is actually where I'm delivering to. Most of the freight out of Wyoming is gonna be coming out the west side, so I'm gonna look at trying to pick up over in Colorado, and that Golden, Colorado, and they're right there, the very first one. There's a lot of loads coming out of those beer plants, and so you keep an eye on them loads in your area. See if I can try to find something. There might not even be anything on here that I can take at the moment, but we're gonna look. 28th. Okay, that's something I could take. It's going to California, and currently I'm trying to go back east. And plus 1696 for 1202 miles. Keep in mind, that's just this total distance here. That's not from where you're delivering to or where you are delivery. That is from Golden, Colorado to Redding, California is 1202. So you also have the other at Deadhead that you gotta account for and do all the math for on your own. And so 1696 for 1202, that's barely paying over $1 a mile. And if I get a Deadhead almost 200 miles, this load's not profitable. You really gotta watch some runs. Now an Odessa load might not be too bad. And probably not gonna be booking a load tonight then, just because how it's looking. Yeah, most of it's going to... Oh, hold on. I see something right here. Hawthorne, New Jersey. Lubbock, Texas. Yuma, Arizona. Alright, let's go ahead and look at this. I actually have a buddy that I'm trying to pick up. He's about to be homeless at the moment, so I have a friend who's going to take him in. It looks like it's a live unload on the 2nd. I can pick it up between the 27th and the 29th. And it's 1,757 miles. So let's look at it. This 2940. So I did the math. There's like about 184 for the deadhead. Plus, actually, it's probably about 187. 1757. So we're looking at 1,941 miles. Well, so 2940. What was that? 1875. Divide that by 1875. So it's about $1.56. So that's not great, but usually you want to go for the highest paying load. I did see quite a bit of higher paying loads, but being that I need to get over to somebody, this is a really good load to get to them. That would be going to Hawthorne, New Jersey, and my friend is over in DC, and I'm going to bring him back to Illinois. So let's go ahead and let's look at this load. Let's go look at these details. It's very important. Don't just look at this weight, these miles, and like, oh, it's going to be okay. Because trust me, you do that, you're going to have some rude awakenings. You got to look at where you're delivering to. So it looks like it's picking up in Miller Coors, in Golden, Colorado. I've been there often. I go there so much that I ain't even have an issue. It's going to go to AIG Trucking in Hawthorne, New Jersey. Just go ahead and just look over this. Sorry, it's a little bit easier from the phone because when you're on the phone, it will let you click and go into satellite view, but it looks like it's not going to let me do that. So let's go ahead and just take this address here. And let's go ahead and copy that address. I'm going to paste it over here. And let's go have a look at that. So, we see it's up on the 80. So, where it's at, it's pretty close to New York City. It's in the Newark area. Let's go ahead and get satellite view. It's really, everybody should get in the habit, if you're, when you're driving a truck, if you weren't shown already, please look at your satellite view before you go somewhere and accept a load, because it really affects your career if you hit something. So it is a live unload. Those appear to be a bunch of box trucks. So this looks like it's really built for box trucks. However, if you look at this, these are all 53-foot trailers, and it looks like that about where that white line is about as far out as your cab would stick out. So it doesn't look like you have, it looks like you could come in up off of Wagaraw Road. The entrance is up here. And it looks like for my setup, I could come in here, stay far out, park, check in, or whatever. I should be able, it looks like this area is really easy to spin around, and I can get a sight side out of that. You do your setup and come out and try to back in. But I found is if it's too tight, what you could do is pull to the center and do a 90 in. So remember, if it's tighter, you don't have to do a normal setup. You could center yourself with the parking lot and angle it in. So that looks like I'm going to it'll be going to a pretty decent place, and it'll be delivering on the 2nd. So if I'm getting under this, see, I could pick it up as early as the 27th. So I can get under that load and start moving down the road. And I don't have to be there till 9 in the morning. So another thing you want to get in the habit of is, well, let's look at my hours of service. Just make sure you have the hours of service to do this. So we're going to look at my hours, cycle recap. So I'm pretty low on hours right now. I'm down to 30. And I'll be running on recaps about the time that I get to it. So probably about the 27th, 28th, I'll start getting, yeah, so about the 28th is when I'll get that 9 hours back. It looks like I'll get 7, 6, so let's say 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. So it looks like I have plenty of time to run that load, 1,800 miles. That sounds like 3 full days of driving. And they gave me quite a bit of time to do this. So let's go ahead and set this load. The worst thing that can happen is I run out of, I believe I have enough hours, but worst case scenario, if I have to get repowered, there's plenty of yards in that area. So let's go ahead and book that load. And when you confirm it, it'll go ahead and tell you it's a preloaded trailer and it's a live unload. Now, in my experience with the Cores, all your trailers will be preloaded, but your seals won't be in the back. So that gives you a chance to secure your load. Which you always want to make sure you can secure it. A lot of these dropping hooks, you're not able to secure it, and then you make a sharp turn or somebody brake check you, you're going to get on brakes too hard and it shifts. Unless you can prove that trailer was pre-sealed when you got there, if that load shifts, it's on you. So I like to make sure I get a load like this. I've been there before, so I know even though it's a preload, I can secure my freight. I have both straps and I have E-Track load bars. E-Track load bars are a lot better than regular load bars. So it does go ahead and tell me it's an alcohol load. So you gotta make sure you have all the alcohol stamps and stuff, but we have to go and confirm the load. Really, I usually wouldn't take something. It's only paying $1.56 a mile, but that's something I needed, it's just going to where I needed to go. And it's successful, gives you your load number, how much it's paying. So then, when you go to your tablet, it's usually almost instant. I'm already getting the messages on my phone, which I'm recording from. And it loads. Bam, it's right there. Miller Cores, Golden, Colorado, to Hawthorne, New Jersey. Well, that's pretty much it. That's how you book a load in Swift Load Board. I'm always open to answering people's questions and helping out with anything I can. So if you have anything that you weren't really shown because they haven't really been helping or doing anything really to teach the owner-operators how to do anything at Swift, just let me know, and I'll try to help you in any way I can. Honestly, if you're a new driver, if you're going to be coming in to Swift, I recommend you just start as a company for a couple months, learn how everything works, and have enjoy the fact that as a company driver, you'll have that orientation, that guaranteed pay, get a few paychecks, get used to Swift, make sure it's something you like, and then try to go owner-operator. If you go straight as owner-operator, it's like, I had to drive to my truck, where it wasn't like you go to any yard, you go to your home yard, you have to drive to the yard that your truck's at, get your truck, do your driver call, do all that, and then you just toss the keys and told to figure it out. They don't really do anything, so. But just like that, load is booked, so we'll go ahead and do what we got to do, and I'm about to start rolling. I got to go do my load here, picking up in Tucson. So I'll probably post this a little bit later down the road, so I don't reveal where I'm at for load security, load safety, and talk to you guys later.